Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Dimitri Johnson, and you're listening to MMALatestNews.com.
It's time to roll, baby.
Hello, guys. Welcome to the MMA Debate. I'm Johnny Rashman. I'm here with Mr. Mitchell Ivey, Mr. James Sweetnam. Boys, how we doing?
Absolutely terrific, Johnny. And I know what we're going to talk about today is a bit of a controversial issue in the world of MMA. So would you like to view us in? It's Conor McGregor, it's Khabib.
Conor and Khabib. Mitch, I know we've had a lot of controversy, back and forth tweets. It seems to have been reignited again.
Yep.
We want to talk about, will we see Conor and Khabib too? Mitch?
Well, we're definitely going to see it at some point. This year is happening. You know, it all depends on one result at UFC 249, where Khabib faces Tony Ferguson. If Khabib wins that, we've already been told that Conor gets the next shot. Now, I'm not one for sort of predicting the future, but
Mystic Mitch.
I think UFC are definitely playing a fate here too much. UFC 249, same venue, same main event, same co-main event in terms of Rose Namajunas being co-main event this time. As last time, UFC 223, yeah. Khabib Tony was the main event. Right. Rose Namajunas was the co-main event. It was in the Barclays Centre. You know, this little beef is bubbling over. Conor McGregor, stay away from buses, stay away from New York, stay in Ireland, because we're not seeing a dolly getting through a window again.
Listen, the dolly
and
got thrown.
keep all wires away from Tony Ferguson.
The dolly got thrown because Conor McGregor is a master self-promoter. I mean,
I don't think that was in promotion.
But make no mistake, Conor McGregor, right? Everything he does, I mean, I love the guy. I think he's a phenomenal fighter. His talent's actually underrated. His record's just ridiculous. But
he's only lost twice in the UFC.
But make no mistake, Mitch, he does everything for a reason. That dolly thing, do you seriously think, I'm not being funny, if you're on the street, right, and someone's done something to you and you retaliated out of 10-second anger, he's got on the plane and gone, so it's all premeditated. It's not like...
There was a period of time where he decided to get his private jet, get about 20 other Dubliners to get on it with him, fly halfway across the world and still be in enough of a rage to actually throw a dolly through a window.
I know.
At what point do you go, right, lads, like
halfway through
we're halfway across the Atlantic, like, have we actually thought about this? Like, he just didn't have that thing in his head.
He did it to promote the fight, and he did, and you don't want to know why, because this is how it works. Fighting
was it the night of the weigh-ins? When did he do it?
He did it
Media Day, weren't it?
It was April. Like, I remember it was
Media
April.
Day, and he nearly killed Rose Namajunas and Michael
I was wondering.
Yeah,
obviously the fight had already got broken down between Ferguson.
It
would have been
UFC.
It was Max Holloway versus Khabib by that stage.
Yeah,
but, I mean,
and then also we had Namajunas and Jacek rematch.
Please not talk about tempting fate, because Tony Ferguson, Khabib Nurmagomedov is probably the highest level fight we've seen.
Did you see the press conference? Him kicking the title off the stage.
Yeah, it's about as good as trash talk we're going to get. Tony Ferguson's a mentalist. Like, he wears a suit.
I'm actually happy that we got it. I think it happens.
Yeah,
I hope it happens.
Tony and Khabib is just showing itself, because I'll talk one day about that. But I've just got this feeling that I don't know what it is that.
It's not happening.
It's not. It's nothing to do with Mitch. It's nothing to do with Tony and Khabib.
3 weeks of the MMA gods, please.
We'll get that. But I just
MMA
think,
gods, keep happy.
will we see Conor and Khabib again?
Yes.
Because the way, I know it's a monster fight, but the way Khabib's talking, he doesn't want to be fighting for much longer. And all it takes is a loss. If Khabib loses to Tony,
then you see Conor Tony.
But I've just got this thing where I don't know if we'll see it again. Business sense, 100%. But I've just got this thing where the way it's look, all this promotion, and will we actually see?
I think it happens. Again? I think it happens, and I think it probably happens in Abu Dhabi.
In my opinion,
if he wins.
In my opinion, I think the fight probably does happen. Do I want to see it happen? No. For me, it was.
You know what?
I'm half as conclusive as a fight.
Yeah, I am half.
It wasn't remotely competitive.
What are you talking about? He won a round, McGregor.
That's what you have to go for. He won a round,
right? But let me tell you,
he was ragdolled for 4 rounds.
He competed on the ground, and he gets slack for his ground game. He competed
on
in that first round. He did, but after that, he got pretty mauled.
He got up numerous times, and he won the 3rd round. He didn't get up numerous times.
No, he didn't get up.
He got up.
He spent every single second on the ground.
He got up a few times. He got up. He stuffed the takedowns with. I remember watching that fight, and I remember seeing especially the first 3 rounds, he was stuffing the takedown. Round number 3, he won the round. And let me tell you something. I believe he was injured, and he said Conor McGregor is one of those dudes who never makes excuses. Not like Yo Romero or anyone else. Doesn't make any excuses. He comes to fight, win, lose or draw. He's had ligaments torn. He's had this and that. I believe he was very flat-footed. I believe he had some type of. He said it was the worst camp.
He said
he said it was the worst camp he's ever had, and I believe he did phenomenally well in that fight. It was more.
No, he didn't do well.
I believe he did very well.
It wasn't a close fight.
Just
It wasn't close.
Play devil's advocate. I agree with you in both senses. I believe with you to see a rematch, yes, because of the rivalry, because of the business. No, because it was such a conclusive victory for Khabib. With the takedown defense, he was very good for those first probably 5 minutes, but after that, Khabib worked him out. He did very well. He even knocked him down at one point.
The better striking came from Khabib in the fight.
But when I was watching that fight, I've seen a lot, and I love Khabib, right? But some of his fights can be boring because he's that good. I never got that. I was captivated from the first to the last minute. Because I
do have vivid images of McGregor on the floor repeatedly.
Well, who hasn't been? Yeah, but I'm seeing it different. I'm seeing it as this guy did better than any single person.
I like Quinter.
Quinter did better than.
Not on the ground.
No, but I like Quinter.
I think you're remembering it.
I like Quinter's the only one to make the decision.
He just got battered.
He stuffed the new number of takedowns. He did. He stuffed it. Don't watch the fight again.
I've watched the fight. And
watch it again.
He spent almost 5 minutes of 3 of those rounds on the floor.
Right, you're missing the point though. It's not about you're missing the point.
Because he stuffed a couple of takedowns. We want to give him credit.
No one else has done that again. We're talking that Khabib is that good.
Dustin Poirier almost made him tap.
Dustin Poirier did better against Khabib.
I believe his ground game really, in a strange sort of way, it may sound stupid. I think it was one of his best performances.
McGregor,
no,
it was his worst.
He was terrible.
The reason being,
it was his absolutely worst performance in the cage.
If you listen to me on the technical aspect, because I was going into that, and Khabib
there was no technical from McGregor.
But that's why you're completely wrong, mate.
He spent.
If you remember that opening round, Conor McGregor did well to defend the takedown for about 20 seconds, and then ended up on the floor. It was 5 minutes.
If you go and ask people in MMA, and they will say they were highly impressed with how he was stuffing the takedown and how on the floor he wasn't consuming that much damage. Yes, the fourth round he was, but he wasn't consuming. He wasn't getting an absolute pasting. Towards the end he was, but at the beginning, because in my mind I'm thinking, right, if Khabib gets you down like any other fight, he was just going absolutely moist, but he was springing back up. He was stuffing the takedowns.
I can't recall him springing back up.
He sprung up the first sort of battle they had, or the first 15 seconds, but I don't remember anything after that.
It was very impressive how he stuffed the takedown, even after getting knocked down. Even after getting knocked down, he still won that third round. No, I know you dismiss it, but no one's won a round against Khabib.
Yeah, but no one's knocked down McGregor like that.
After being...
Yeah, nobody has done that.
I think Diaz might have, I'm not sure.
He never went down against Diaz.
But what I'm saying is that I really... Because McGregor, if you take it in his ground game, you say Khabib's obviously a lot high level on the ground, but he was very competent on the ground. And a lot of training partners say that McGregor is very competent on the ground. He's got a very loose style. He's got very flexible. And I believe in that fight, you may be able to laugh, but if people comment, I don't know, maybe we can get someone an MMA coach or someone in. I'd actually like to get someone in the studio. I know a few coaches. We'll get someone in to actually break it down and to see if I'm talking rubbish of your talk. Because are you seeing it like a fan? I'm seeing it in technical ability.
I can see it from both aspects. Conor McGregor, that wasn't his best performance in the cage.
I'm not saying it was his best performance.
It was his worst.
I wouldn't say it was his worst performance.
It was that and Diaz. And even Diaz one was a lot better than that.
No, it wasn't Diaz, because just how I didn't think Conor would be able to be that effective on the ground.
He wasn't particularly effective.
I wouldn't say effective, but he didn't get absolutely mauled. Like you see Khabib, when he fights other people, he's just got him on the ground. He's boring. Okay. I thought the first few rounds, McGregor did exceptionally well after having an injury, after being knocked down. I really believe that.
6 takedowns he got. Khabib?
6 takedowns.
6 out of 14. Right. So he did stuff 8, but...
Right, right, okay.
But 6 takedowns isn't...
Stuff takedown.
You know...
So how many did McGregor stuff?
8, but...
He stuffed 8, right. And is anyone else stuffed that amount? And it was the way he stuffed it, though. I remember thinking it was high level. It was high level. Yeah. It was...
Khabib outstruck him in output, so...
Conor McGregor survived.
Yeah, he survived that one.
I disagree.
He did survive. Like, he didn't do anything on the ground. He just took a pace.
But he was always looking for something. He was active.
But anyway, to come back from that, I think I agree with you that it's conclusive. But I think the build up to that fight is what really makes me want to see the rematch again. Because obviously he wasn't clean. He was going out boozing after spars. He wasn't looking after himself properly. He had injuries, however, happened. He had all that controversy going on with the bus and everything else that was going on in his life. So a clear-minded McGregor, a McGregor who has a full camp, a full healthy camp as well. That would be interesting to see. You know, we've got 2 maybe opponents where he's gone back and fought him again. You know, Diaz won. After Diaz won, you probably wouldn't have wanted a rematch. But, you know, that first round was pretty decent from him. He gassed out. It goes up for the second one. That's a different fight. And that's really our only conclusive sort of evidence that we've got of the rematch.
I think you're missing a point. Sorry, James. I think you're missing a big point. McGregor is at his best is when he's fighting consecutively.
Yeah.
And, when he's fighting back-to-back. So against Nate Diaz, he went back into the...
Well, that's the best we've seen of McGregor. And arguably any fighter at that 12 months. Aldo, Diaz, then McGregor, Alvarez.
So it was consistent. Now, he fought Khabib when he'd done the Mayweather show.
Yeah. It spent 2.5 years out of the cage, was it?
2.5 years. And this is what I'm saying in all the
Maybe
context
3.
about his performance. This is why, if you take everything into consideration, you're missing the bloke was out of the ring for 2.5 years, out of the cage for 2.5 years. But you're nodding your head. What are you nodding your head at?
No, to be fair, Khabib was out a while as well, weren't he? He had a year out.
Yeah, Khabib had fought Ali Quintus shortly before, but then before that, I had a large stretch of inactivity.
Let me say, what do you, like, when I'm saying he's been out the ring a long time, do you not think that has an impact?
No, I agree with that, but you could always... You know, Sean O'Malley spent 2 years out the cage and he looked phenomenal at the weekend. Now, I'm not going that...
Khabib,
no, but I'm not going out against that. I think ring rust... There's an element of ring rust which is real. I think the main thing was that camp and the fact that he was on, you know, all sorts of intoxication.
Mentally, he didn't seem right. He did look a little bit flat. At the same time, though, it's not like there was any question regarding the result. Khabib did win it comfortably.
It wasn't like Zhang Weili and
I'm not
Jacek
saying
this
that,
weekend.
but I'm saying if you look at it, if you take everything in context, where the 2.5 years out, the injuries coming in, the way Khabib was mauling people, the way he was stuffing the takedowns, the way I don't
think he was particularly more competitive on the ground than anybody else was.
But is he the only guy who's ever won a round against Khabib?
He is.
Right, so...
But
no, did Gleison Tebow win?
Gleison Tebow won rounds, and Dustin Poirier won a round.
I don't know about officially, but I know there's a big thing about McGregor.
The Poirier fight was after that, though.
Yeah.
Up until that point...
He was the only
one
one
winning around, and even after being take that overhand right hand, and even after being taken down, he still won that 3rd round, and he was still willing to trade. So that's where I think if you take everything into context, I think it wasn't that bad of a performance.
I think Conor McGregor fans are looking for something to help him. People are going on about it's a good performance because he won a round. It doesn't really matter. Khabib won virtually every single second of the fight.
3-1, it was it.
And now we're looking at the Tony Ferguson fight next up.
Yeah.
I would rather see Conor McGregor fight for a title if Khabib was to lose. Because
then you got a fresh matchup.
I'd rather see Conor versus Tony, because I think stylistically he has more chance of beating Tony.
Conor and Khabib is sexy. It's got the backstory.
For me, it's
I don't
boring.
care
I think
it's not boring at all. It's captivating.
I go in thinking, right, there's going to be some trash, but Khabib's going to maul him.
Have you ever watched a boring Conor McGregor fight? Please.
The Khabib fight was boring.
You think you went on the Mitch? Were you on the edge of your seat? You think that fight was boring?
It was one-sided. It was one-sided.
But it was captivating when they were both stood up. It was captivating.
You could tell, though, that Conor looked slow on the feet and his shots didn't have a lot in them. I was never watching it thinking, right, Conor's won away because he just looked so flat.
I was more excited for McGregor. Well, I was more excited for McGregor Khabib as a build-up, but I would rather go back and watch Cerrone and McGregor go at it. The build-up was nice. There was no animosity about it. There was.
Why?
I mean, that again was a one-sided fight. Yeah. I don't want to see one-sided fights. I want to see matchups where I go in thinking, could this happen? Could that happen?
Eddie Alvarez, McGregor Diaz, McGregor Aldo.
Gaethje's an interesting fight.
Yeah.
If
that's sexy.
Applies the right game plan, because if he fights how he usually fights, face first, he'll get knocked clean out.
Yeah.
He needs to use his wrestling,
which he doesn't, does he?
Extremely high level, which he chooses not to use.
The thing is, like Mitch, you just alluded to them that. Always a nice build-up. Fuck that. I don't want to see a nice build-up. I want to see sexy things happen. I want to see people throwing tables, people throwing chairs. I want to see needle. I don't want to see a nice build-up.
As much as that 229 build-up was enjoyable to watch as a fan, on reflection you can see he did go too far. He went a bit...
I agree.
Bit wayward with it. Whereas the McGregor-Mayweather one, he was spot on with what he was doing. He was very witty, even though there was some allegations of racism and things like that. He had a very good build-up to that, and he looked great. And I think... if we look back at his career, depending on how far it goes, McGregor-Mayweather is probably both the best thing and worst thing to happen to his career.
Yeah, I mean, it paid him multi-millions of pounds. But I mean, I think I don't think he was racist at all in the Mayweather build-up. I think a lot of his comments were taken out of context, and I think the media were looking to slate him.
Yeah.
As for whether he was racist in the Khabib build-up, yes,
definitely.
He was on the
Islamophobic.
I love Conor. It wasn't homophobic.
Islamophobic.
Yeah, sorry. I love Conor McGregor. I really do. I think he's once in a lifetime generation fighter. But I do think he looked unhinged, and I actually really believe this, and I believe this with all my heart. That I believe he took that fight to promote Proper 12. I think he knew he wasn't in the right mindset because everything was Proper 12, and it did a phenomenal job on the table.
Have you seen it? It's on the Octagon. It's been in Bellator. It's been in the boxing the other week.
Yeah.
Proper 12 on the canvas. He's done an amazing job at that.
To promote Proper 12, I really do, and I think he was on. As much as I love him trash talking, he was out of line. Yeah, he was stepped over the mark. But you're forgetting the best is the Aldo build up. I mean, the way he was saying what he was.
That's not my favourite.
Oh, it was my favourite.
Not your favourite build up.
My favourite's him and Alvarez.
Really? Well,
that 205 press conference.
The only person.
That 205 press conference was incredible.
It was good.
He went at everyone.
And there's actually a spell. Alvarez is probably the only person I've ever seen really offset Conor McGregor in terms of a comment he made. Do you remember when they used to do those back and forth things in the news studios, and Eddie Alvarez made a comment about Conor McGregor being on welfare. McGregor didn't know how to take it. I mean, Floyd Mayweather had some success in the trash talk. He definitely won the first press conference.
Yeah, because that's when he got his mic turned off, wasn't it? Yeah, and then he went berserk for the rest of the four.
Then Conor won the second. Floyd probably won the third when he had all those bounces.
And then the one in London.
Fourth, probably Conor. But yeah, it was a fantastic build-up, that fight.
I'd watch that again.
You watch what?
That time period. I'd watch that again.
No,
that little time period was something. Was so much fun.
I'll be honest with you. That's before the fight. The period from I think it was it 2007?
2017 July, June, July.
2017. From that period,
no, 18,
2 months before the fight, the press conference.
Because it was a weird one, wasn't it? It was like 6 weeks out. It got announced.
Yeah,
it was like 6 weeks. Here's the promo. Fight.
Yeah, because it sold itself. But that journey of. Could he land? Because it was McGregor missed it, then where he was predicting his results. He wasn't
that close. I mean, it was one of those fights where it got made, and I could.
That close. You might.
No, but if that uppercut lands,
it does nothing.
Story.
Like he's been hit by. People are banging on and on and on about Conor McGregor's power, and yes, he does hit hard, but 10-ounce gloves are a completely different thing to 4-ounce gloves. Yeah, let's not forget, Mayweather's been in with Shane Mosley, Canelo Alvarez, Miguel Cotto, massive punches. It was a fight that I knew from the outset. Okay, it's good. It's going to drag the casuals in, but this was never ever going to be remotely competitive.
No.
Yeah, true.
And you could see when Mayweather came out in the Philly shell, he never does that. He's always on the back foot. He said himself he didn't even really train. So I don't want to see that again. Because the build up was once in a lifetime thing. Yeah. Because we've seen the fight now, and we've seen it was a bit of a.
It's set a precedent now for every other MMA fighter and boxer to be like, hey, let's do a crossover. Which
it can't be done.
It can't be done at that superstardom.
Murray won a world championship in badminton. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, it's completely different, and it's in context. Mayweather was the best fighter in the world. You can't.
And McGregor was at the sort of peak of his stardom.
But you can't go from no amateur background
and
not been. When you turn pro, you don't fight to any fighter in living history.
No.
Actually, I think Lomachenko was the only one whose first pro fight had his second fight
fought for a world title.
Fought 12 rounds, but 99.9% of the time, when you have your first pro fight, you fight 4 rounds, 6 rounds to get used to fighting 12 rounds. It's a completely different story if you've never done it before. McGregor had never done it before, and he said he got tired. I don't want to see that fight again. It's been done. It doesn't captivate me. It's just complete crap. I don't want to see it. I want to see McGregor fight in the UFC regularly.
Yeah, me too.
I don't want to see him fight Khabib and Tony next. Even if
I think it's going to be one of those two.
I want to see
it's either them two or Gaethje.
But the thing is, the Cerrone fight didn't do him any favours. I know he won, but he was 30 seconds is not enough to get the ring and stuff. I want to see him fight a Gaethje or get another fight in, get another few rounds in, get the training camp in again, then go in fresh. No 2 years out the ring, no ring rush. Go in fresh against Khabib, and then I believe it's a lot closer fight because McGregor is a special athlete. He really is.
Yeah.
Because he's that famous, it's like a David Beckham syndrome. People don't realise because David Beckham was such a megastar. What an absolute phenomenal football player. There's no one who had a right foot like Beckham. And McGregor gets the same. People somehow undermine his record. Look at the names: Holloway,
Poirier,
Alvarez, Poirier,
Aldo,
Diaz,
Cerrone.
Cerrone. it's just, and people still try and disregard his record. He's a special athlete, he really is, and I'd love to see him fight Khabib again, but without the ring rust.
Yeah. The reason why we're here is that tweets have been shared. Islam Makhachev made very bad tweet.
What did he say?
He said, in reaction to the Joanna fight, he said, this sport isn't for women, pretty much, to paraphrase it.
Is that who said? Is that what he said?
Islam Makhachev. And obviously, Conor responded.
What did he say?
Let me grab it here. Let's see.
I mean, I think the two women who put on a show this weekend would disagree, and Joanna Jędrzejczyk and Willie Zhang, because the sport is massively for women.
Exactly.
And in terms
what did he actually say?
He said, this is not a women's sport.
Why would you say that? What do you mean it's not a women's sport?
Yeah.
Did you not watch that fight?
I mean, they come from a different background out there, don't they, in Dagestan? But
I don't care if they come from the North Pole. Everyone can see that was an amazing fight.
Yeah. He wasn't saying it wasn't an amazing fight.
Cultural differences.
Yeah, cultural differences. But McGregor responded, an absolute cretin, a convicted steroid cheat that will do anything to avoid impact and stall a fight, and then talks down on one of the greatest exchanges of combat ever produced by female combatants. These little gremlins, it's back on filthy rats. Shame on the game. Khabib, he fired back with that help.
He put
with the street fight clip.
To show your son, didn't he?
And then
he showed the clip of McGregor hitting that old man in the bar.
So it seemed to have refueled everything again now.
I've got to say, for me, it's probably, in all of combat sports, it's probably the worst rivalry I've ever seen. I know we had
one of the most heated ones.
With the tables with Lennox Lewis and that, but I think this is like borderline. Like this ain't with the Dolly incident and all that, because McGregor's sort of saying that is promotion. He said it in the octagon. Look, it's all promotion.
It's just business.
But it's not though, is it?
It's not if you're dealing with Khabib from Dagestan, because they don't see it as business.
Khabib's not asked about the money, and you can generally say that he.
We saw how he reacted at the end of 229. He's won that fight so convincingly. He was still pissed off and went after Dylan Dennis.
It's about fighting. It's about war. And Khabib, it isn't
about respect.
Throwing that dolly for a bus for Khabib isn't business. It's you are coming for me, and I'm going to batter you.
Yeah.
And it's not the sort of thing like, if those Dublin lads want to take on all those Russian Dagestanis, then it's a big ask.
Well,
don't get this twisted. Khabib and kind of Conor is a pure fighter. From Ireland, they do not fuck around. They don't do from Dagestan.
Khabib was wrestling bears at 3 years old.
The Russians are dangerous.
Don't you think
people.
these Irish? They don't fuck up. They have fights like we have cup of teas. They don't give a fuck. They're there to fight. They don't care, mate. They ain't running from anyone. They're like the Mexicans. There's certain nations, the Mexicans, the Irish, and the Russians, they love war, but it's got to a stage where, and don't get me wrong, like I say, I love promotion. I know you like a bit of an ice, but I love fucking tables and all that. But this is serious. There's no fakeness about this. This is a seriously heated rivalry that probably has gone over the line.
Yeah, it definitely went over the line. But I think, it all matters what happens at 249. If Khabib wins, we're not seeing him till September anyway. So I reckon McGregor probably faces a Gaethje. If Tony Ferguson wins, there's probably more reason for them to book that fight and have a quicker return, because then that builds up a rematch for Khabib anyway. If you say Tony Ferguson wins at 249, you get Tony Ferguson versus McGregor for the title shot. Whoever wins that gets a rematch with Khabib. That's money in itself.
Yeah, I suppose so. I mean, I don't know if I want to see rematches with Khabib at this stage. I want to see Khabib take on...
Do you reckon if he loses, he retires?
Khabib?
Yeah.
You reckon he will?
I mean, no, because I think he'd want to restore his honor.
Yeah,
so
I think if he loses, he retires.
No, I don't.
Because he's about... Khabib, it's not about fighting. It's about, how his relationship he has with his dad.
Yeah.
He wants to impress him. He wants to make him proud.
It's all about respect.
He'll come back.
Pride, all that.
I'd like to see Khabib Tony. And then presumably, if Justin Gaethje doesn't fight McGregor, then I'd like to see Khabib.
Yeah, I think Gaethje's the deserved title shot.
Gaethje has the best wrestling in that division. And we can't just rule him out because Khabib's more than everybody else. And Justin Gaethje doesn't show his wrestling.
But look at Ally Quinta.
Justin Gaethje is a very, very high level wrestler.
Quinta did very
Look at Ally Quinta.
Justin Gaethje's a better wrestler.
If that fight was built up from 3-4 weeks out, we would have gone in and said, why has Ally Quinta got this shot? He doesn't deserve it. He's not going to last him. But because he took it out on 2 days' notice, he went 5 rounds with him.
Yeah, I think Justin Gaethje can offer Khabib problems in spells. I mean, it's interesting matchups, and we are looking for interesting matchups for Khabib. But I think he goes in such a
I don't know if I'm wrong here, but I know Khabib was looking at 30-0 and then retiring. Yeah. And I know he was talking about...
What's he, 28 now?
Yeah.
So Tony, Justin.
Yeah.
Retire.
But I know his last 3 was like McGregor, Tony, and GSP.
This is what it's just about then. You've just said he's not going to... This is what the whole title was about. Will we see McGregor and Khabib? So in your mind, what you just said, we're not going to see it again.
I would like, in an ideal world,
Yeah.
to see Tony then Gaethje. I think we'd be more likely to see Tony then Conor.
Yeah.
All right. So to wrap this up, 2020. Just yes or no, will we see Conor and Khabib too?
We see it this year.
2020.
Yes. Yes or no?
Oh, yeah,
Just yes or
2020.
no?
Yeah.
Just one set of you, James.
December.
So, yeah.
Does I have to say, I'm trying to work out my head, does Khabib beat Tony, in my opinion?
That's the stumbling block, isn't it?
That's the stomach, because he has to get past Tony for this fight to have any relevance.
If you, in your head now, just yes or no, will we see Conor and Khabib
in 2020?
Yeah.
No.
Right, Mitch, yes or no?
I'm going to say yes. I think as long, this 2nd or 9 needs to happen. But Khabib wins that. I think we see either Abu Dhabi in October or MSG in November. We see that fight happen.
Yeah, I 100% agree with Mitch. I believe it happens by the end of 2020. And on that note, we'll wrap it up there. Please hit like and subscribe. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter at MMA Latest. We've got some fantastic content coming out, big names from UFC, so keep an eye out on the channel. And we'll see you soon.